certifying badasses one podcast at a time. Teaching you to love Monday. Check your baggage at licensed-to-be-badass.com and hop on the bus to Badassville. Turn up your energy with Mustang Monday. Here once again in the driver's seat is Kelly Orchard.
I learned how to drive a stick shift when I was 16 years old.
Okay.
And it was one of those situations where I had an opportunity to go out of town for like a couple of weeks, but didn't have any wheels. And the friend that would lend me his car
had a
stick shift. So he gave me the crash course, literally, poor dude's crash course in driving a 5-seat. And then that whole 2 weeks, I put like 1,000 miles on his car, driving to the beach everywhere.
That's awesome.
It was a little Toyota Celica, really fun to drive.
Do you know how I learned how to drive a stick shift?
How?
And I will tell you, I didn't learn. I just did it. Jerry bought me a NASCAR driving experience for one of my birthday gifts. And the guy says in the class, the guy goes, how many of you have never driven a stick shift? I look around and nobody's raising their hand. And I go, me? And he goes, okay, so I'll have to teach you before we start. I said, okay. So I thought he was going to get me in a car and teach me. No, he taught me on a piece of paper. Here's
Standard
1, 2.
eight.
Exactly.
Oh
and he
my
goes,
God.
okay, so when you do this, you do this. And when you do this, do you understand? I'm like, no. But I guess I'll figure it out when I get in the car.
Yeah.
So
oh my goodness.
God. He goes, don't worry, I'll be in your ear the whole time. And so I memorize, you don't memorize it, you know it. And then when he's saying this, I'm thinking, how is it supposed to feel? And it was just funny. It was a very funny experience. But I got that car up to 138 miles per hour. So I was pretty proud of myself.
Yeah.
The first time I drove a stick shift, I got the car up to 138 miles per hour.
Yeah, but shifting and the clutch doesn't have anything to do with speed.
No, it doesn't.
Except when you want to downshift.
Yeah.
You're slower.
That was the little thing, though, trying to get it back down. But
Yeah.
it was good. It was good.
Yeah. My son-in-law has asked me about how often I've had my brakes checked, and I'm like, I barely use the brakes. I just downshift.
You just downshift.
I just downshift.
Goodness. I'll tell you, downshifting at 138 miles per hour, when he's like, okay, get in now. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
The car will stop itself, right? Eventually, and then you press on the brakes. But it was just, yeah. It's a challenge to drive these cars.
So, hey everybody, this is Kelly Orchard, the Badass Certifier, in the car with Julie Ngo, who, is from State Farm Insurance here in Old Town Temecula, which I love your office space.
Thank you.
But just like figures that we're talking about cars and driving fast when you do car insurance.
Oh, yeah. I don't do that on a daily basis, I swear.
Yeah. Well, okay, so we have been kind of teasing the idea of getting you in the seat.
We have.
For a while. And then we had our lockdown, so that kind of just,
True.
And little confession this morning.
Yes, I did. I was going to cancel on her. I was going to cancel on you at about 9 a.m. I'm not good at this, but that's why I think we've put it off for so long, and then COVID, and
maybe.
I was okay.
Yeah.
I almost canceled at 9 a.m. Thought about it again at 9:30. Just then felt it was rude at 9:38. And just went, okay, fine, I'll do it.
Yeah. And then I did tell, it's like, it's just a conversation sitting in my car. It's like we met at Starbucks maybe and just like chatted it up.
I know, but you want to know about me, and so that's
what makes you nervous.
Yeah, that's what makes me nervous.
It's not about you're too shy to talk about your business.
No, not at all. I can do that.
Monday, Mustang Monday is not all about business. Yeah,
No.
but let's talk about let's start there though. So how long have you been a State Farm agent?
So 2006, so 15 years as a State Farm
agent. As old as
agent.
this car.
Yeah, 15 years in the insurance industry, 21 years.
Okay.
But yeah, so State Farm for 16.
Okay, so what did you do before that?
I worked for an event rental company in San Diego called Raphael's Party Rentals. Worked there for almost most of my early 20s, and then decided I needed to get out of it. It is a 24-hour day, no weekends, no family, no holidays kind of event. Yeah. But I love it. I loved it. Still close to the family. They're like my surrogate family. So they raised me, grew me up, taught me everything I know about life and values and business.
And that is where we begin.
Great.
Yeah. So, okay. So I was sharing with you as we're kind of prepping for this interview on that I had seen you speak somewhere. I don't know where. You were sharing your story about how you immigrated here.
Yes. I immigrated here when I was 2 with my parents. We actually ended up in Camp Pendleton eventually. Stayed on Camp Pendleton for about 12 to 14 months, I think it was, before we were sponsored out by a family. Yeah, so there were a lot of us. It's hard to get a lot of us sponsored at the same time, but Grandma really wanted us together, so we all were sponsored out by one family.
And from where?
San Diego.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
But no, immigrated from
Vietnam.
Yeah.
Vietnam. Yeah.
Okay.
I left Vietnam. So the fall of Saigon was April 30th, 1975. We got out right at that moment, and if I get my story straight, it would be to Guam first before immigrating back over here, because you have to go somewhere before you can get to America. So we went to Guam, and then the Marines took us to Camp Pendleton.
Okay.
Yeah. So
all right. And so you had a sponsor family.
I did.
Here.
I did.
Yeah.
We did. You know, when you get here and you stay in a encampment, a refugee camp, you do have to be sponsored out, at least back then in 75. I don't know how it is today, but back then they didn't just let you out and kind of do your own thing. So the family, back in that time, a lot of us immigrated to different parts of the country, and a lot of church groups would do it. Our particular situation, Mr. and Mrs. Dietrich actually met my father somewhere, and he had asked them to please immigrate, help us get out of the camp, because my parents really wanted to start getting their life together and helping my grandparents get their life together in this new country, not knowing the language, not really knowing anything, but sitting in camp wasn't doing anything for them either, especially after, such a long time. So they really wanted to get out and start being productive. And he agreed. I think a little bit it was that he was a newspaper reporter for the Union Tribune.
Okay.
And so it was a chance really for him, which I loved him. He started almost a little story. Back today you would call it a blog. Back then it was just news stories.
Right.
A weekly column of how we were doing. And not that he did it weekly. He only did it, at certain times when there were great achievements, things like that.
Wow. Do you have those clippings?
I don't. Actually, I don't. I
probably find them though.
I bet you I can.
Wanted to.
And I wonder if I know my dad has a couple.
Yeah.
And I don't know that after my grandparents passed away, do they have more? But growing up, I knew they had a couple. My dad keeps everything.
Yeah, well,
everything.
So do my parents. Part of my story lately is, I moved my 83-year-old parents in with me, and with them came all of their memorabilia.
Yes.
So I've had like a year and a half of this is your life.
Oh yes.
Like, all over. So I'm sure that you would have.
I do.
Something similar.
I do. My mom has. My parents they keep everything about me, and it's funny because I was not that parent, and I wonder if that's the reason. So I told myself I would keep 2 boxes of my son's stuff. So I have 2 large plastic containers of my son from 1 to 18. My parents, on the other hand, have a garage full of stuff.
They'll have a box for every 6 months.
Every 6 months, and it's like, oh my gosh, Mom. But the cool thing is, no matter what, if I need something, my dad has it from way back when. He's got it.
Yeah, that's good. All right, and then one other impression I had of you is your shoe fetish or obsession.
I do.
Okay, so it was I think it was and purses too. I think
I do more shoes.
More shoes though. The shoe thing is the more comments I hear. So, I don't know you very well, but it's like those are the two. The impression is, what is up with Julie Ngo and her shoes?
I'll tell you, I have no idea where it came from.
Yeah.
I just
love shoes.
I love shoes. Well, I learned a long time ago you can't grow out of your shoes. Your clothes fluctuate, your dresses, your pants, everything fluctuates, right? But your shoes can't. So your feet are usually always the same size, I hope. But I don't know where it came from. I started looking at shoes, started buying shoes, and started getting comments on shoes, and I love them. And I love the more different, the better. I've got some lace-ups that go up to my knees, and every time I wear them, people are like, oh my gosh, a little out of character for me, but love them. I have boots. I have a number of cowboy boots. I'm not sure why, but I have a number of cowboy boots. And Jerry looks at me and goes, you don't even like country music. I said, I know, but the shoes are the damnedest, cutest thing.
Shoes are the thing.
It's the cutest thing. Yeah. I could sit in a boot store and I could be in there for hours. And I just want every single boot that's up there. They are really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to get into country music so that I can wear my boots.
So you have a reason to wear them.
Yeah, absolutely. And a reason to buy them. That's the truth.
A reason to buy them.
That's the truth. Reason to buy them.
Yeah. Well, I think that'll be, you know, like a New Year's resolution for you. So a goal to set is like to learn some country line dancing.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, that
was that a whole new idea?
That was a whole new idea. Oh my gosh.
Look what happens on Mustang Monday.
I could buy a whole collection of like sparkly cowboy boots. I need a pair of sparkly cowboy boots.
Yeah, and then they can have a Julie Ngo night at the whatever the ramp. Is it gambling cowboy?
What
do they call it? What?
The Stampede.
Oh, the Stampede.
The Stampede.
I don't go out much, obviously. I got 83-year-old parents at home.
Oh, so. I know. Yeah, I know. That must be
But they don't need to go line dancing, but you can.
Oh,
you should.
I could learn.
Give yourself a reason for those shoes.
I can't even do the electric slide. I'm not sure I could line dance.
Okay.
The electric slide confuses me. I know. But people who know me know it confuses me.
Are you directionally challenged?
Very. Right? Yeah, I am. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Hey, no harm done. I've been a dance instructor for a really long time.
Really?
It's kind of like a hidden secret, I suppose. And I can teach. I've taught anyone how to dance.
Oh, so we do have to go line dancing.
Yeah, and I don't know line dancing, but I can watch it for like 10 minutes and
do
I'll have
it.
Yeah.
But if you could teach me an electric slide,
sure,
that would be awesome.
All right, everybody, we're gonna record that one. I'm gonna do it. We're gonna
that would be fun.
Yes,
it'd be fun.
It would be totally fun. So, okay, what about a badass tip? Because you are a business operator. You're also very much involved in the Chamber of Commerce and other organizations. Like what? Like what are
so the Chamber, Professional Women's Roundtable. I work with Oak Grove, Rancho Domicitas. I'm a Rotarian. I do things that are just passionate. I'm passionate about. I get this comment a lot. Gosh, you're so busy. You do everything. It's funny. I always say I'm not that as busy as people think I am, but I do things that are passionate. Assistance League is another passionate thing I'm really into right now. It's funny. I love just going and sorting and hanging clothes. It's mindless. It's fun. It's therapeutic. Yeah. It's my love of clothes.
Yes.
And so I get all that combined, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
it's really. I love that. So I love that because it is very simple.
It's simple
and
therapeutic,
and very therapeutic. And I often, it's like I'm always constantly, and I do say this literally, always looking for ways that people can practice self-care. That doesn't mean you have to schedule a massage or spend a lot of money or it has to be vacation. Something very simple like hanging clothes.
It is.
While you volunteer.
You know what? And I'll tell you, 8:30 every Saturday morning, every Sunday morning, you'll probably see me in there for a couple of hours. I work with Electron Sunday mornings taking pictures, but usually after that I'll hang clothes. It's like you said, it is therapeutic for me.
Right.
And I give back, and I love it. Jerry can't believe how much I'm enjoying my Saturday mornings. He's like, so no more brunch Saturday morning. I said, no,
I gotta go fold clothes.
Sorry, I've got to go fold clothes. So once in a while I'll skip it and I'll do a longer Sunday or vice versa, but most of the time that's my morning. I don't need the spas or the massages. I just hang out at the Assistance League, hanging clothes, sorting clothes. That's it.
So now you mentioned these other nonprofits, and just for people who aren't Temecula residents,
okay,
because this goes anywhere.
Right.
So Oak Grove and Ranchos Domicitas are what kind of organizations?
So Oak Grove is a children's organization that helps with disadvantaged kids that just need help, autistic kids. It's an on-campus and off-campus program. Learning a lot more about it as I'm an ambassador for them. Rancho Domicitas is single moms and babies. A program that started just about 3 years ago. They were a home for foster kids, but with that legislative change, they moved over to something that I really love is women and their kids can stay on campus. Our whole idea behind that was breaking the cycle of abuse, even before they get into the foster care system, making the mamas more strong. That's totally bad English, but stronger women will raise better children, so it just hopefully these women gain some self-esteem, work knowledge, education, and then just become good parents, and then keep the kids out of foster care. That's what our hope was. Break the cycle. Yeah, I have a lot of colleagues that work in the domestic violence field,
And it's like I have clients too. As a psychotherapist, we have to study this and continuing education and everything. And so, I focus on depression and anxiety and grief, and so they're all encompassing.
It is.
And what you're doing by sponsoring or promoting or being on boards to help provide these services.
Yes.
That's where your heart is.
It is. It is. I feel like as a woman, if we're not taking care of ourselves, we can't take care of the ones that are so dependent on us. It's nothing. There's nothing wrong with us. It's just sometimes we forget.
Yes.
Or we don't know how. I think that's the biggest thing. We don't know how. I remember a long time ago I learned from someone 2 big lessons I learned in my life from my surrogate family. Was the first one was love your partner. Sometimes your partner has to be the number one person in your life, and sometimes we put our children first. I know that's very controversial, but she said your partner's going to be there forever, and you need them to help you raise your children. And then your children will see that strong partnership and continue that cycle. They've been married 70 years until she passed away recently. And so that to me was like, wow. And they, I remember she never left the room without kissing him goodbye. And even up until their older ages. And so it was wonderful. And the second one was to self-care.
Yes.
And that's so important, because if our children, again, goes back to this next generation, if they see us caring for ourselves to be better providers for them, they in turn will hopefully internalize that and continue that cycle. And so I do make sure that I'm okay so that my son is okay.
Does
that make sense?
Oh, preach it, sister.
Yeah, you have to.
Of course you do. And I think that the parents of our generation maybe didn't practice enough self-care.
didn't.
We saw them overwork.
Yes.
And then they work and work and work until they retire, and then they have a heart attack.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the whole idea is balance. Live a good life.
Absolutely.
Self-care is part of the balance.
Yes.
It's not selfish.
Yes.
It's very important.
It is. And it's so funny you said that, because that's exactly what I saw in my parents. I'm a little bit of a workaholic,
Yeah.
And so, but that's all I saw in my parents. And I remember my mom just never, ever took time for herself. If she had any moment, it was, and I get it, we didn't have any money. And so constantly they were finding ways to make money, second jobs, third jobs, things on the side. My parents were constantly working and never ever took care of themselves.
Nowadays we call it your side hustle.
Your side hustle. Oh my God.
Then it was necessity.
My mom had so many side hustles.
hustles.
My dad went to school to educate himself to do better, and in return my mom, so my dad went to school full time and worked full time, and my mom on the other hand worked full time and then did like 4 side hustles, so but that's how she raised us.
But
and
you
that's
didn't see her taking care of herself.
She didn't,
right.
and she was tired all the time, I'm sure. And and she never said a word. They also grew up not to complain, right?
Yeah.
And so I think they raised me so well, but I also know that they could have used a break, I'm sure. And so now I always
learned that.
I did.
Well, you said that you're a workaholic, but you also shared about the passions that you're involved in, and so it's okay to be a workaholic as long as it's a passion and it's not a stress.
No,
that's the difference.
It
there.
is.
I love my work too, and I've been confessing lately that doing these podcasts is actually therapeutic for me.
Right.
And so as a creative person, I'm putting together scripts and audio and voicing and music, and that's therapy for me.
It is. I get that.
It's therapeutic.
Absolutely.
And so you like to fold clothes.
I do.
And you probably get the whole shot on all those shoes that come in too.
And it's right. And it's funny because for me, therapy is work. If I'm sitting at my desk working on client files, doing things, that's also very therapeutic for me.
Yeah.
I enjoy, it's funny, I enjoy just doing things, like constantly doing things. I like to sit on boards, but I like to get involved. So governing boards are more difficult for me, because I like to get involved in things.
You like to be hands-on.
I do. I like to be hands-on. So that's why I think, like, even for Oak Grove, I love being an ambassador, because I just get to go out and talk about them. And that for me is fun. So that's that's a lot.
So a badass tip from Julie Ngo would be
self-care. Is that it? Would
Perfect.
that be it?
Yeah.
Self-care.
It's like, we went around a lot of circles here, but wasn't it fun?
Yeah, it was. It was really
Are you still
self-care.
nervous?
I am. A little bit. I
so
won't
nervous.
lie.
All right. Well, I think it was fantastic, and you did great. I'd have you on every day.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're
Because I
welcome.
really was nervous. And now my whole day's going to be like, oh, I did it.
I did it.
I did it.
That's part of the be bold and stuff.
Yeah, be bold, be brave, be
Don't say it yet.
Oh,
Okay.
dang
Here.
it. Sorry.
I have this. I tease about putting this up here, and I actually have a taped one now. I'm gonna get a permanent sticker, but we'll wrap up now. Julie, thank you so much. I know it took us a while to get here.
Yes.
To this point, but I'm really glad we did, and you gave me a good reason to come down and cruise Old Town.
You have to come down
Yeah.
to top down. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
this is not a
Sorry,
convertible.
sorry, not
it's
a
stick
convertible.
shift, but not a convertible.
Yes, but you know what? You just got to put the windows down, drive Old Town. It's so much fun. I've been
Yeah.
here for 16 years.
Yeah.
I won't
love it.
leave.
Yeah, well, good. We don't want you to leave. So, Kelly Orchard, Badass Certifier with Mustang Monday with Julie Ngo of State Farm Insurance, reminding you now, repeat with me, to be bold,
Be bold.
be brave, be confident,
Be confident.
be badass.
Be badass.
If you enjoy these interviews, you can watch videos of Mustang Monday on Kelly's YouTube channel, too. Grab your Badass Habits ebook. Get started on your badass journey. Go to licensedtobebadass.com.